Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinder Studios, and welcome to Message to My Subscribers number 8. This is my yearly, end-of-the-year recap, talk about the cool stuff that happened this year, and also with this year, the even more cool stuff, and lots of it coming next year, so stick around. So, whether you're a new subscriber to this channel, or you've been around for years and years, I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the time, for giving me your attention, and for subscribing to this channel. I say this every year, but I know my numbers aren't huge, but the fact that any of you out there think that my content is worth watching is just blows my mind. Especially those who watch not just a couple, but every single video. That I don't understand that concept. I don't understand your dedication, but I am so grateful for it. So thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching, and thank you for your continued support. So this year I'm actually not gonna try. I'm gonna try not to edit this too much. I've got 2 pages of notes to talk about, so this is gonna take me a little bit longer than sort of the videos I've been doing lately. Actually, that said, before I even get started, I've actually been trying more consciously to cut down the time on my videos. The 20-minute ones are nice, but they're kind of a pain to upload. More about that later. And generally speaking, I want to try to dial back my ranting and just try and keep a core area of tips and try and keep things under 10 minutes now. Or just even under 15. I think it's a good step in the right direction. So this year, as a whole, just want to do a general recap. I think sometime last year, around the time of the last Message to My Subscriber video, I think I said something like I want to try and get to 5,000 subscribers this year. We didn't even come close to hitting it, but you know what? I'm not bothered by that because it's still a much bigger growth than it was last year. Every year it's been more and more and more, at least in terms of like a couple hundred more every year in terms of the subscriber count. This year, at least at the time of recording this, which is Saturday 12/17, from my stats, actually I think the stats are probably like 2 days behind, so it's might be a little bit higher. But this year I was looking at around 1,246 new subscribers. Holy crap, you guys are awesome. Which brings the total up to around 4,200, and that's I cannot wrap my head around that. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, it's more every year. Last year I think it was around 1,000. This year it's 1,200 new ones. So you guys are out there, you're spreading the word, and thank you for that. Unlike last year, I actually had fewer PPVs or painting process videos. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I was just painting out of the house more. I was at shows, live painting, so a lot of the paintings I would have loved to do a painting process video for, I didn't do here, so obviously that is a bit of an issue. But in place of that, I definitely put up a lot more tips and tutorials this year. There were some good product reviews out there as well, and those have been doing really well, just in terms of both view count as well as just general engagement of all of you that have come to the channel through those videos, as well as have just continued to follow me through them and learn along with me. And of course, most recently, there was the Kingdom of the Wind visual development project that I launched. If you saw the first video but haven't seen the dev kit launch, the dev kit is out there. It's on my website. You can go check that out. It's on the projects page that you can get that. That's a new page, by the way, on the website. So yeah, I launched a big project about a month ago or so. A lot of great growth here on the channel, and just a lot of I feel some of my best videos I put out this year. Now, aside from the channel, I know not all of you live in the Pittsburgh area like I do. In fact, I would say probably maybe only 5 to 10 of you do that actually watch the channel. So I think it's always important just to talk about success that's offline. Specifically because I think if you're a learning artist or somebody who's sort of where I was even last year, sort of really kind of breaking into the professional art market, you want to like, okay, where are the successes, where are the failures? My only real failures, I would say, this year, in terms of shows, were just being more selective about which ones I do. There actually were a lot more shows than I could even participate in. One, because of my day job's work schedule, and two, just because I didn't feel like they fit with me and with the sort of, I don't want to say the demographic, but like some of the shows are more music focused or more almost like party focused, and I don't want my art to be a part of that as often. So for me, it's about being more reserved in that respect. So last year I had 10 different shows or events. This year I had 14, so I am up from last year. Honestly, it almost doesn't feel like there was that many. I mean, I know there was a lot, but you know, it's like not every show's good. Sometimes it's like a good show and a bad show and a good show and a bad show. And when I say a good show, some of it is based on how much I sell, because it's like you're gonna put in 8-12 hours, and if you only make $20, it's not really worth your time. The second thing is foot traffic versus people who are actually looking, because there's a lot of people that just kind of pass by and go, oh, yeah, that's nice, but that doesn't help. Getting people to actually stop and talk to you, even if they're just another artist, can really make that show successful, at least in my opinion. Now, of those 14 shows and events, I do want to mention 3 of them, which I thought sort of were the best of the best. Actually, I'd say the absolute best one was in very, very beginning of the year, which was a gallery show with my art collective, Red Fishbowl. They had 2 receptions, an opening, a second, and then a closing. For the first 2, I did live painting, and in many ways, I feel like I was the focal point, because it was just me the first night, and then me and one other guy the second night, and that was a really cool show. I did I think make 1 or 2 sales out of that, which was definitely made it worth it. But that was it was in a nicer neighborhood than a lot of my regular shows, so it was definitely tailoring to a higher class of people, and it was, in my opinion, that show was everything that I want to do with my art. Also, it was really nice to have my name on a decal on the window. That was really, really cool. The second one was somewhere in the summer, and that was the Southside Art Crawl. This one actually sits somewhere between a good show and a bad show. I thought it was a good show. I thought, though, that again, this is my collective that sort of put on the Red Fishbowl. I thought we kind of spread ourselves a little too thin over too large of an area. I was actually inside, I wasn't on the street, which I think kind of tanked my sales a little bit as well. In fact, they wanted like live painters to be certain places, and I missed a lot of the foot traffic because of that show. I did get some, but not as much as I really would have liked to. But overall, I think it was a really positive experience, and being inside in air conditioning rather than outside in 80-degree weather, that was actually a little bit of a perk. And the last show that I think is worth mentioning was one called Paint Jam. This was August, I think. It's really hard to remember at this point. Maybe October. I think it was October. Regardless, though, really cool event. There were like some 30-ish visual artists. Several bands were playing. There were performers that had these gymnasts wrapping themselves on a big, like a curtain basically hanging from the ceiling. A really interesting show. Actually met a really cool artist there by the name of Jerome. You can check his Facebook page out over here. Actually, I don't think I can put a link in. I'll put it in the description box, but there's a picture of it. He's a photographer that has moved into sort of graphical painting. He's been doing a lot of sort of fan art things right now. But when I talked to him at the show, he kind of gave the impression that he was really starting from ground zero. I don't think ground zero is the right term there, but square one in terms of drawing. And then when I saw his work, I'm like, you are much better than you told me. So I was pretty impressed with that, and really happy to I was like talking to him for like 20 minutes, just about like process and everything like that. And that's one of those moments that makes a show great, is getting that encounter and talking with other artists like that. So that was sort of like the recap, online, offline. I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the video, what do you guys have to look forward to in the new year? Well, actually, there's a crap load of stuff. So many things that I do, basically little bullet points, and there's like, I don't know, 8 of them or something, so I'm going to try and be as concise as I can. Don't have a ton of stuff to say about all of these, because I can't give away too much information right now. But, so yeah, I think the first one to start out with is, again, Kingdom of the Wind, the Community Visual Development Project. It's going to be hitting in full force next year, probably sometime in the spring. I'll be putting a lot more videos out about just projects that I'm working on, sketches, more advanced sketches. I might be doing some tutorials based on this project and that are also more like drawing tutorials. I'm not entirely sure how much stuff I'm going to be putting into it quite yet, but I'm looking, just based on the sketches I've been doing, I'm really looking forward to working on this project, both as the guy who created it, as well as helping you guys out to be part of it as well. Again, also really trying to tell myself to promote it more and to talk about it more, because it's one of those things that's almost fallen by the wayside a little bit since the original introduction of the project. So again, you guys talk about it, share the project, get it out there, and be part of it yourself. Next up, I already have a lot of tips and tutorials planned. Well, by a lot, I mean like 10 or 12. But the reason why I say a lot in this case is because I have a lot of things that didn't make it this year, and normally I do that as a video because I record stuff and stuff falls through. But this year, the only things that didn't make it this year are just stuff I didn't have time for. So I actually already have a list going for some of these things. I just want to just read a couple out to kind of spark your interest. I want to do a video that's called 8 Paintings and Why I Love Them. So some old master works, some newer digital paintings, and just kind of break down the stuff I love about them, a lot of which will involve breaking apart things like the elements and principles of design in that individual piece. And that's something I think would be really valuable to show you what I see in a good piece. I have been using some Liquitex paint markers here and there, and I want to do a review on those. I want to remake my feather pen video, which is one of the more popular videos on the channel, but it's also one of the oldest too, at least in terms of art videos. And so I definitely want to remake that, but I can't do it probably until mid next year again. We're getting there. I can't say why yet because I haven't covered that yet. The next thing is I've been kind of playing with this idea for a while, and I started to kind of lay the groundwork for it a little bit this year, and I think it's about time that I launch a Patreon page. Now, a lot of people that do this will launch it big audience or small audience, and it seems to vary on a few factors on how successful they are in doing the pages. For mine, I've kind of been looking at different visual artists' pages and seeing whether or not they're successful, because there might be somebody who's popular on YouTube and has a big audience there, but has very few people supporting them on Patreon, and I've noticed it's because of like the perks they offer. Now, one thing I did say, I think it was sometime this year, or maybe last year, is that I never want to create a paywall for the good content of my videos. I don't want you to say, I don't want to say like, give me $20 a month and then you get the exclusive premium tutorials. I don't want to do that. I feel like that's limiting to me. It's limiting to you guys, and it puts up divisions and barriers in the community that just shouldn't be there. This is something that I've actually, you could say it's a critique of Tim Gonyard. He's sort of one of the other big name acrylic painters on YouTube. I say other like I'm a big name. I'm really not. But he's somebody that got the following and then started doing DVDs and downloads and sort of that traditional art instructor route. And he sells them, and it's fine. I have nothing against him doing that. But to me, I feel like that's the thing that isolates the community. And for me as an artist, I'm like, you have like a 1.5-minute video, and it's like, go to my website and buy the thing. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that because you are withholding this information from me. But that's a rant for another day. I'm starting to get off topic. Generally speaking, my Patreon page, I want it to be simple rewards, whether it be like quarterly packages of art prints, I eventually maybe want to do some sort of giveaways within that, like sketchbooks, art supplies, stuff like that. Although some of that will require me getting a P.O. box because I don't want a ton of people knowing my home address. I feel like that would be a really terrible thing. But just right out of the gate, one thing I know I can do is upload more of my sketches, my daily sketches, and have those sort of as an exclusive, because occasionally I tweet about them and throw them in there, but I think having like anywhere from like 3 to 7 a week of just my daily sketches, I think would be a really valuable thing and definitely worth putting the paywall up for. Fourth one, this one is something I may or may not have teased last year. I don't actually remember. I know I actually filmed something of a trailer for it this year and then kicked it out of the stuff to release because, one, if I did a stuff that didn't make it this year, it would reveal too much, and two, I just didn't like the format I was going with at the time. So what is this project? It's another big project for the channel, and this one would probably encompass more like a 2-year runtime, and that is to do a sort of a series on art history. This is something that's showed up a couple of times in live shows and stuff. I talk about like none of these people, none of these artists on YouTube, not none of them, but few of them, really talk about the importance of art history and then tell you what the art history is. So one thing I did do this year is kind of type up an outline of all of the just topics that I want to cover, like big eras in art history, and it's like 23 different eras or something like that. So the project alone, even when it becomes hopefully what I'm hoping is sort of a video series, it'll take a long time just to release all of them, even when they're all done. So that alone is going to be just a nightmarish amount of work, but it's something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. My biggest issue with the project thus far has been what kind of format do I want to do. And the thing is, I've wanted the Vlogbrothers sub-channel Crash Course to do art history for a really, really long time. They've done philosophy, they've done chemistry, they've done regular history, like American history, Western history, whatever. They have not done art history, and it's driving me nuts. It's like, we're releasing our new topic, and it's never art history, ever. It drives me insane, because it's like there are all these other really important topics. The art history is one of those really important topics. So for me, I want this series to be somewhere between Crash Course and, if you've ever seen the Delve video essays, that's sort of where I want these to sit. I think doing a sort of a video essay where maybe you don't see me just bouncing around the studio and it's more just text on screen or quick little drawings to illustrate a point. I think that is kind of where I want that series to exist. But that's going to involve a buttload of work. I'm probably going to be scripting word for word for that project to make sure everything's as accurate as I can. But that's hopeful stuff for next year, because I literally cannot conceive of the work I need to do for it right now. But it is something I really wanted to work on. So before I get to the next topic, I already want to apologize for the runtime of this video. I can see, just based on this and I guess some previous recordings, I think I'm already over 20 minutes. So, sorry. So the next thing is, I'm going to change, to some degree, the name of the channel. This is something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and it's removing the name DMC Films from the channel name. When I started this channel, that's all this channel was about. And then around 2011, 2012, it became a dedicated art channel. And every video I'm like, this has been from DMC Films, this is from Black News. But the DMC Films part never, ever, ever comes back. Mostly just because of time constraints on my part. I don't have time to make a film anymore. There are a lot of projects I want to make, but I don't have time to do them. So, in general, everything film-related is going on the back burners. In terms of new films, in terms of tutorials for film stuff, all of that is just kind of gonna go on the shelf for a while. And that's a long-term shelf. It's not like, oh, a shelf for 6 months. This is probably a shelf for like maybe 3 or 5 years. Just because, again, I can't do it right now. And so much of this channel has become an art channel that the association with my sub-brand of DMC Films doesn't make sense anymore. There is something that YouTube is offering to certain channels of, I guess, a high enough subscriber count, is to change the URL. And the URL for this channel, if it's not just channel and then a bunch of uppercase letters and numbers and stuff, is youtube.com/user/DavosMoon, which is the name I came up with when I was 16. Which, again, it's really easy to type in an annotation when I'm trying to get a subscriber thing. When I have the Earth logo in the corner of a post screen, and it says subscribe. That's what I type into that, because that's easy. That's really the only reason it's still around that way, and likely it will still exist in legacy code going forward through everything, you know, on the server, on YouTube and everything. But I am able to change it to just Cinderblock Studios, and that's what I want to do probably in early January. It's one of the first things I do when the channel jumps to the new year. And again, DMC Films, it's not going away entirely. I'm not deleting films, I'm not removing any of that content from the channel, but it's going on the back burners. One thing that kind of prompted this was I was watching a live show from one of my favorite channels, Common Man Cocktails, and they read out my username, which is DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios, which is a mouthful. And he's like, "It's a really long name," and I'm like, "That is a really long name. I should do something about that." So, in the interest of just making it easier to say, mostly, it's just going to be Cinderblock Studios going forward, and I think it's a good move on my part to do that. Two things left. This one actually kind of came to me. Well, it didn't come to me recently. More of the solid ideas came to me recently, but I've been thinking about this one for a while too. Is when I click on my little account thing in the upper right-hand corner of YouTube. It's a drop-down menu, and I have DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios. I've got Sketch Every Day, which is the second channel, also which is growing rather nicely as well. Tutorials and sketchbook flip-throughs there if you want to check that out. I gotta work on promoting that channel more. And then there's just my email account with my face, and it's just like not a public channel, like no channel, no subscribers, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Not that I need another channel, because it's hard enough to maintain two as it is. I've been wanting to do vlogs for a while. Things that are not art related, things that are just on my mind that definitely don't fit on this channel, definitely don't fit on the other channel, and would need their own platform to exist. If that is something that interests you, let me know in comments. I don't know what those topics are going to be about. Probably just general life things, certain philosophical ideas that I have every now and then about various topics. Occasionally I might talk about art, but probably not. I really want to have a platform just to rant, just to have rants and to talk about stuff that probably, for me, wouldn't be good to do in a blog, a regular written blog, because I don't think that format would work for what I want to talk about. My one thought with this is I definitely want to go sort of Vlogbrothers style and try and keep the videos under 5 minutes. So it's like whatever I want to talk about, whatever I want to rant, should be under 5 minutes. So it's watchable and easily accessible to a variety of people. And the final and really most exciting thing is, I've been building up to this the entire time, and I actually teased it last year. I didn't tease it, I kind of talked about it. Is that last year I said I'm going to be looking for probably a place of my own in 2016, which is now. I found a place, and I am moving in probably the end of February. So the green walls of Cinderblock Studios, as you know them, won't exist after a couple months in to 2017. I am so excited. I got basically a signed agreement. I don't close on the property until the end of January. Basically what that means is I haven't completely signed over my life yet, and haven't put down the money for it quite yet, but there's sort of like a little bit of money you put in sort of as a good faith payment. I've done that. But so the new Cinderblock Studios, luckily, will actually have more space than the current one. That's not something I thought was going to happen. I thought I was going to have to downsize. I actually think I have more space in the new studio. So when that happens, when I actually do the big move, the regular weekly content is going to stop for a little while. And it'll be more sporadic. I might have like a Tuesday video, and then a Friday video, and then like a Sunday video, because I want to do a series of moving vlogs. And that's going to be a lot of things, probably off the tripod stuff, just holding the camera in my hand. And I want to really document sort of the taking apart of this studio and the building of the new one. I feel like that's going to be super valuable for anyone who's maybe wants to build an art studio and doesn't know how to maybe organize their paints, or how to they do this. Like, I've been working with the same system for like, God, 6-7 years now, with like bookshelves, and like all of my storage systems are going to change. So I have to, I want to document that. I want to show the process of literally building up the new studio from scratch, and saying like, okay, if I had the freedom to do what I want, because hey, I'm going to now, how would I organize my paint? How would I organize my brushes the way I really want to? And I think that's going to be an interesting journey, and I hope you stick around and take it with me. But in being in the new house, it's going to open up a lot of new possibilities for me, both personal life-wise, as well as just things I can do on the channel, things I haven't been able to do here. A lot of the out-of-the-studio stuff, I'll be able to film basically around my entire house. Easier then than I can now. Now it's subject to when other people are home and whatever else. But generally speaking, it's gonna make things, I feel like, that next big step for this channel, for the studios as a whole, and all that fun stuff. So look forward to that. So again, really long-winded. I think we're probably sitting around 30 minutes here in terms of this video length. Sorry in retrospect, but that's why I love making these videos. I love ranting. I love talking to you guys about all the cool stuff I've got coming up. Granted, I think a good half of the cool stuff I talked about last year didn't happen. So, there's a lot of stuff that even this year and going into next that I talked about may not happen. But the things that definitely will, like definitely moving, definitely doing Kingdom of the Wind, definitely doing new tutorials. That stuff's not going anywhere. That stuff's definitely happening. The art history project, again, might get bumped again another year. Don't really know, but really looking forward to the next year of stuff. Again, thanks all of you so much for subscribing. I can't even begin to thank you. I don't make a ton of money through this channel, but the fact that I make anything, the fact that you guys watch, that anybody gives me the time of day, little old me, is just, it's nutty. I can't figure it out. But whether you've been a subscriber for a long time or you've been here a week, thank you so much, and I look forward to what we can do in the new year. So as always, if you're not already subscribed, although by the end of this video I feel like if you're not and have heard all the stuff I've been talking about, you'll want to like this video. Let me know stuff in comments. Seriously, I don't want to say I need more comments, but I want to hear from you guys more often. I don't hear from you guys enough, so please let me know what you think of my videos. As I said, subscribe. This has been from Cinderblock Studios, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, 2 things I forgot to talk about. Again, interrupting the post screen, not showing any videos. Bloopers are coming next week. Second was, as you probably saw there, channel outro and intro. That's going to change with the changing of the channel. I don't know how it's going to be. It's probably going to be messy for the first few months as I kind of figure that out. But again, looking forward to all that really cool stuff. If you've never seen this post screen before because you don't watch far enough, right below me is about here, at least in terms of the bottom of your screen. It's lower, but right below me is a link to my official website, and they're annotated, so if you're on mobile, you can't click on them. I'm working on changing that over to the new end screen, but it's a whole lot of work that I'm not willing to do right now. Lower right-hand corner for you is the button to go to my second channel, and on the lower left is the button, again, annotated button, that you can click to subscribe to this channel if you're not already. So that's the concept of the post screen. Might change in the next couple months, who knows. But thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.